Okay, bro. Mm. Hello, good morning, lovely people. Welcome to this broadcast. This is Mr. O, and I welcome you all here to this space. This morning, we're going to have a very quick discussion, very quick interaction, and we'll see how best we can situate that as well. If you're on here and this is your first time, welcome, and please share the video. Invite somebody, let us learn. We are here to learn, and invite someone. All right. Yes, this is not for only those who want to travel, but it's for everyone. You know, my videos are meant for everyone to learn. Yes, so there is this question I want to ask. I know there are lawyers here, I know there are police, I know there are military, I know there are medical personnel on this platform or watching this video, and I know teachers are watching as well, and I know students are also watching. Wherever you are watching from or whichever sector of life that you are in, welcome. Let us see how best we can learn from this. And I believe all of us in our various sectors, we always desire progress, right? We desire progress. Apart from the progress, we desire to be promoted, all right? Good morning, Benedicta. We desire to be promoted. And irrespective of the work you are doing, promotion does not come from the air. It does not just appear to you. Because even if I know of teaching, I know of the military, I know of the medical guys, I know of various jobs that when you desire promotion, there are things that you need to do to get that promotion. And even as students, before we were promoted from one grade level or one class level to the other, there are things that we needed to have done. There are things that we needed to have done. And we all call it what? Assessment, examination, test, aptitude test, whatever name you give to it. They all come under one umbrella that is a determinant for progress. A determinant for progress. It's a benchmark. It's a benchmark. It's one of the benchmarks for progress. If you desire progress, then you must be ready to be tested. You must be ready to be assessed. All right? And throughout life, from when we were kids, from when we became young adults, when we became adults, that is how it has been. Even the Supreme Being in his own wisdom, if he wants to promote his prophets and the men of old, there are various tests that they go through. There are various tests that they go through, and there are various forms of assessment that he brings their way. All right, he could test your faith. He has tested their faith. Some of them he has tested their tenacity. Some of them he has tested their desire for money. Some he tested them for their desire to believe in him. Their beliefs were tested. Some failed, but some were able to go through the test successfully. And there is one thing that comes with assessments or testing. Wherever you made the progress, you'll be promoted. When you are successfully tested, Ruth, you'll be promoted. So it is not out of place. Even these teaching agencies, somebody was asking me yesterday that, is there a way for you not to do the test? Because they was being asked to take a test that will give him the certification, teacher certification in the US. And he was trying to find ways and means to circumvent the process. And I said, my brother, you cannot. There is no way around this. You have to take the test, if that is what they require. But if it is not a requirement, then you are not obligated to take that test. You know what I mean? So we went back and forth, and we came to the conclusion that he will register for the test and he will do it. Then it came to the question of how many of us have been in classrooms when we were kids, especially in Africa, where the teacher comes in and gives us what we call mentor, right? Ruth, good morning. And Wisdom as well, good morning. Just a second, let me. So some of us has been, what victims of abuse. Will I call it abuse? Yes, maybe, because we've gone through abuse that has made us who we are today. At the time, we didn't know it was an abuse. At the time, we didn't know it was an abuse, right? But as we grow, as we learn, as we expose ourselves to teachings, then we realize that, oh, what these people were doing, yes, it was helping, but it was pure abuse. A teacher will pop in the class in the morning, mentor, 4 by 4, 3 times 3, 6 times 14, 24 plus 18 minus 3. And if you don't get it right, you receive lashes behind your back or in your palm or on your bum, right? Good. As at that time, a lot of us don't know that it was simply little abuse, little torture. Ibrahim, good morning. Little torture. But as we grow, education, the laws, everything has defined it, and we are looking at it from a different perspective now. That is a form to them, to our teachers. It was a form of assessment they were giving us. They were trying to test our readiness, our understanding. You know, and it's one big thing here when you are a teacher here in America or North America or in Europe. Assessment is one of the pillars of teaching and learning. In fact, not only in Europe or America, all over the world. Even in Ghana, assessment is one of the pillars of education, right? Because at the end of the day, whatever you teach as a teacher, you must be able to assess for understanding. You must be able to check for understanding. Do my students understand for 3 days? You've taught for 1 day that lesson. Sometimes at the end of the day, you yourself, you can check. Sometimes you as a teacher, you know that this thing I taught today didn't go well. You yourself, you don't feel the spirit in the thing, right? But then you have to find a way to assess your students as well. And in testing for their understanding, you employ a lot of assessment strategies. And here they give it the nice, what I described earlier, when you come to North America, they give it the nice thing, pop quiz. Pop quiz that will not pop their brain. But you see, back then, our pop quiz that our teachers were giving us were popping our brain. Yes, it was popping our brain because there is this particular science teacher that will come in the class and you ask you questions that you know that you don't even understand. There is this one math teacher that will ask you questions that you never get it right. Always you are the one getting lashed or getting hooked. You understand? So it's been like that. It was popping our brain, but here when you come here, they tell you give a pop quiz that does not pop their brain. It is allowed. Pop quiz is allowed, but give them the ones that will not pop their brain, right? And as a teacher, there is one thing you must be aware of: checking for understanding, checking to see that the things you are teaching your students understand it. They must not walk out of that classroom more confused than they came in. Yes, there are some abstract, some level of abstracts in almost every subject where there is nothing you can do than to teach it as raw as it is. All right, there's some concepts. I mean, no matter how you break it down, there will be a little or some level of abstract in it, and it will take the higher level of students to be able to get the understanding. Mm-hmm. So for that, we all understand. We all understand, we all appreciate, we all accept it. But as much as you can, 90% of the time, as long as you can, you ought to be able to break down things for your student to understand. All right? That is right. From the lower levels, their form of assessment is different. If you go to Japan, Finland, and other developed, well-structured systems, you don't even assess kids. Students who go to the nursery and the daycares and those things, they don't even assess them for anything. One time I was reading a material, and in Finland, what they have done is from your early stages in school, what they do is they will teach you how to interact. What they're looking for. What's up on your nose and your mouth? They will teach you to interact with your colleagues, with your peers. All right. In your formative ages, that is more of what they do. Interaction, human relation, building your human relation, learning things in your environment, trying to understand each other. That is what they focus on. They don't give you any form of formal assessment. Unlike back home where even children, when they are in nursery or they are in KG, they are being given exams. In fact, when you see some of the homeworks that some of our children bring home when they were kids, you ask yourself, why this teacher is he teaching the university students? Or what was she thinking she was doing? Hmm? It is something that a lot of people have not mastered or they have not learned. In fact, they have learned it, but they have refused to implement the right thing, you know? So we get all these haphazard, unstructured form of assessments going on. Wait, let me go for it. Where teachers give students works that they know are beyond their level. In fact, they are checking for understanding of the things they have not even taught them, right? And that is how we have all grown in the structure. And that is one thing that nobody has been able to speak against. Have a great day at school, okay? Great. Morning. That is one thing that a lot of people have not sat down to look at. Parents do not even look at it. Trust me. And we have to bear or do with all these tedious homeworks, tedious forms of assessment. There are so many thousands and one form of assessment that you can employ as a teacher that will be effective in your teaching and learning. I'm not going to tell you all, but I'm just going to mention some of them. All right. And I know that you guys are aware of the major divisions, formative and then what summative assessment. Formative meaning how the student is progressing in your lessons or in your class from day to day. And the summative is at the want to test for understanding, to test if the student really has understood the unit that you guys have taught. That is summative. It's a summative of a form. Or you can even take the WASSCE exam, the West African exam that we normally take as a form of summative assessment. It's a huge one. I've always been against it, but it's there. Oh, yes. Yes, time, reading time, learning how to give direction. That is why here, even a kid will be able to mention his or her street address. Look, there is one thing they do here. Those of you who have time, go on the internet and watch some of these court proceedings. You see really that a lot of people like to use kids because kids have this kind of memory, very clear memory, where if there is a crime, they can vividly describe the person that they saw. You understand? Those are the things they are supposed to be learning at that formative stages. How to describe, how to give directions, learning time, learning how to read the clock, all these things, basic stuff. Interacting with humans, being tolerant of each other, learning how to, be patient with each other. Building their resistance within. Unlike back home where right from KG1, your child who is not even talking will come home with the homework. If he doesn't take that homework back, the teacher will be angry. So I've always been against summative, this WASSCE thing. Yes. Look, I did measurement and evaluation and statistics. Trust me. I am passionate about assessment. Yes, measurement evaluation is a course that deals with assessment a lot. So if you want my services, I can develop an assessment material or tool for you to use in your workplace, wherever. Just employ my services, pay me some few dollars and we'll go to work, All these aptitude tests and stuff, we can build a lot of, test items for you. Then after that, we can do the analysis and everything, whether the test is reliable or not, and all those things. Let's put that aside. So I am very passionate about it. And I've always been against WASSCE. A lot of people don't understand it, but look, I tell you, WASSCE has been a pain in the back of a lot of people for years. Because this is where you are being assessed from year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, the things you have learned in school. Look, it is not easy. So people fail that test and we classify them as failures. The BEC, very summative, broader perspective, 3 years of work, they assess you in all in one. In the foreign schools here, we don't do that kind of summative assessment. That is why their high school level, it's more, in fact, the kids consider the high school as more serious than any other level for them. Here, most basic jobs, the first thing they will ask you is, you should have a high school diploma. Yes, you should have a high school diploma. They don't just call it high school living certificate. No, they call it high school diploma. Why? Because they believe what you have learned at that level, it's very enough to set you on a path for progress. Unlike back when even the basic school examination, which is an examination, in fact, the BEC in Ghana, for instance, which is supposed to set every kid on a path of progress, even if the kid is able to terminate, does not go to the secondary school, he or she is able to progress in life, even that has lost its value. Trust me, I'm telling you the truth. It has lost its value. Yes, because we give assessments to students that breaks them. So somebody will fail 4 subjects, but he or she is very good in the rest, and we consider that person a failure. The system will classify them as they have failed, so they cannot progress to the next level. Then, in order to find a way around it, they have brought this school placement system and all those co-meanings. All those things are finding ways and means to have a fix. But the whole fix is that you must be able to eradicate this kind of bulk summative assessment. Yes, it's too bulky. So here, my students, first year, when they are year 9, whatever they do, it's a semester-based course they are doing. Trust me. They learn whatever they are supposed to learn in the semester. So what we call the term. So first term, whatever they learn, they assess them on it. They write their exam. Boom, they are done. You have an A, you are gone. The next semester, you are not going to be worried about those things that you learn in the first semester, but it is progressive in nature in the sense that you will be doing a continuation, but they are not going to be assessing you on the things you learned in grade 9. They'll build on it. I will teach. I'll assess you in your second semester. I'll go to the next year, grade 10. I'll assess you. So at the end of the day, the kid is coming out. So they are building points and they are building grade points. That is what the university system used, GPA. So you have a kid who is here, their GPA is 4.0, 3.5 and stuff. They are the ones who get the scholarships easily. You understand? And that is how it's supposed to be. But for us, we lump sum everything. Then when you fail that subject or you fail that particular exam, WAEC will tell you you are, excuse my language, good for nothing. Yes, they classify us as good for nothing. In fact, you cannot progress to a university, you cannot progress to anything. And they set the benchmark very high. Imagine a student, I have students in my class who tell me, Mr. Oh, I am not good in math. Yes, I am not a math person. Give me English, give me literature, give me psychology, give me this. I will. And if you look at the grades, they are doing A, and they are passionate about those things. But the math, because they needed to graduate, he or she has to be in my class, right? So in that class, she tells me the truth. So I'll have to work with that kid. And you see, the most beautiful thing is if she's able to get a C or a B or even a D in my class, they are the most happiest person. One kid got a B. He said, Mr. Oh, never in my life have I gotten a B in math. I had a kid last year, Kelly, and the mother called me, said, whatever you are doing in your class, continue, because my daughter comes home for the first time in so many years, happy that she's in the math class. And she always looks forward to that math class. He said, sir, I don't want to know, but whatever you are doing, it is working for my daughter. So keep doing it, because she talks about math now. She's not scared of math now. She always look forward to the class. And she came out from my class with an A. All depending on how I teach, how I assess. Look, assessment doesn't have to be tedious. Assessment doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be, big. We can use so many forms of assessment. You can even be walking around, give them a one question test, which a lot of us don't do back home in Africa. One question test, give them just one question. Go around. You are not looking for who is able to get it correct. You are looking for how they do it. If they were able to talk about it, okay, tell me why, the reasoning behind how you got this answer. Sometimes give them questions and allow them to talk about it, what they are going to do, what they think is the steps are. These are all forms of assessment. And they will tell me, say, oh, is it for grade? I say, yes, it's for grade. Everything we do in this class is for grade. Hey, man, will it be a quiz grade or a test grade? I say, well, this one, instead of making it a quiz grade, then we all agree it's a quiz grade. Look, the joy with which they speak about, look, there are, my principals will come to my class, they're like, how do you get these kids to come to the board to write? I'm like, well, we just interact. Because no student want to come and stand before the board and solve a question on the board. No, they will not do it. It's a pain for every teacher here. He said, how are you able to get them to do this? I'm like, well, I don't know. We just interact, we just talk, and some of them get up and say, Mr. O, I can do it. And I allow them to. You know, he was so happy because getting this kid to come out of their shelf is very difficult, especially in the math class. So those of you teaching some of these scary subjects that we have considered scary, math, science, the STEM courses, engineering, please, we need to innovate. Innovate your ways of assessing these kids. For them not to feel like they are dumb, for them not to feel like they are blockheaded, you know, just to use a local word. For them not to feel like they are good for nothing. You know what I mean? Because the moment you assess a kid, put them in that grade bracket, you are telling, it's a language, you are communicating. It's a communication form. You are communicating something to them. Yes, you are communicating something to them. Oh, yes, wisdom. That is the truth. They cannot even pass themselves. Look, there are times you as a teacher, you need to flip the table. Let the students give you questions after teaching a lesson for you to test their understanding. Let the students say, okay, all of you, give me a question that you think I should solve. Look, trust me, try it in your class one of these days and see the type of question this student will give you. They know, they say, we see, we will show you. You see, their mind is, we are going to show you, Pepe. The questions you will be giving us, which we are going to give you hard questions. You know, and try to sit down and do those questions. Work it out yourself and realize, oh, this is what I've been doing to these kids all this along. Look, I am not the quiz kind of person. You know, all these national quiz that they are doing in Ghana now, or all over Africa. People sit and they ask them questions, they answer, they have to think within 30 seconds to answer. No, I am not that kind of person. No, you will not get me. No. I'm not good at it. I'm not. Give me the thing, let me sit down and think. That is what I'm good at. I am not your kind of person that, I mean, what is a chemical reaction that you can get when you have 4 molecules of hydrochloric acid interacting with the bromide, hydrobromide, whatever. And at the end of the day, their enthalpy is 54. So calculate the moles and molecules. Madam, my friend, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. Oh, Thomas, congratulations. You got an evaluation report. Congratulations. You are wasting your time. Me, if you give me those questions, I will just look at you and the bell will ring. In fact, I will not even mind you. Okay? And even the beautiful thing is you've seen all these students. They are talking and answering all these questions. Do you know what we were taught back in Ghana? It is all about rote learning. ROTE learning. Go and Google it. Read about it. Rote learning is nothing but it's a cycle of learning structure. That where you learn, you prepare, learn, write an exam, forget. Learn, prepare, write an exam, forget. That's what we do. Yes. So there's no concrete learning going on. Look, when we were in school, we were hearing of these Bubune, all these guys who were quiz, they were solid A. They say, hey, this guy can rock the science and math quiz and all those things. We grew up and we never heard of them again. Even this current years, most of these kids are not really I mean, you ask yourself, what is the structure? What is the plan? What is the essence of all these? Instead of us impacting real knowledge, real assessment, we try to couch it as, okay, so it means this school is bad. Once they have lost, they are bad. You see parents not sending their kids to that particular school. But you see, but maybe that particular school, they are very good in technical. They are very good in handiworks. Yes. Oh, yes, they are talking about hydrochloric acid, but they never seen it before. Come here, the labs, they have it. They have all those chemicals. Even back home, we're having science resource centers. So Koforidua Sectech, where I went to, was a science resource center. So the government had resourced our science lab to the extent that all the secondary schools around come to our lab, sometimes once a week, to do lab and all those things, chemistry, physics lab, and they go and they do all those things. You know, that is how it was, unfortunately. So not every school has all the chemicals and has all the physics labs well set up. No, it is just unfortunate. It is really, really unfortunate. And that is how we learn. And that is how the thing has been. And that is what we are keeping to. These kids talk about all these chemicals. They don't even know how they look like. They talk about chemical bondings. They don't even know how it look like. And they're supposed to think on the spot. At the end of the day, you are publicly evaluating them. And this public evaluation is going to affect a lot of them. And even the image of the school. Oh, I think this school, they are not good. This school, they are not good. Parents will now start sending their kids to that particular one that they are known as the best. But you see, if your kid is meant to be a handyman, a plumber, a carpenter, a masonry, a mechanic, sending them to pre-sec, where none of these things are being done, will not help. Sending them to Achimota, where those things are not being done, will not help that child. I went to a technical school, and I was glad I went there. In fact, I wanted to do electrical engineering. They never allowed me to do electrical because those days they were placing people in courses that they think, because based on your performance in the basic level examination, when there's a BECE, based on that, the headmaster will decide that you have to do science, you have to do electrical, you have to do metal work. Yes, and that was a pain. So I was in the science class, but I chose the science that has no biology. So my science, I did physics, I did chemistry, I did elective mathematics, and I did technical drawing. That was a very unique combination in Koforidua Sectech, and I think they still have it. We call it Mass TD. That course is a blend of science and technical at the same time. So most of us are supposed to go into technical engineering and all these areas. All right. And that was what helped me. And when I came out, I wanted to still go and do my electrical engineering because I wanted to be an aero engineer. Those who fix the plane and all that. I was fascinated about planes. But I never had the opportunity. Based on my grade that I got in WASSCE, right from GSS, I was placed in a particular class. Then I maneuvered my way into a corner. Then right after that, I'm like, you know what? Since KNUST is not going to give me admission to do electrical engineering, I may as well go to Takoradi Poly to do electrical engineering. At the time that they gave me the admission, I already got the admission to Winneba to do mathematics. And you see, the love for the engineering was what I was chasing. And I ended up in math. And I love it. I love it. Trust me, I love it. But you see, everything works for our good depending on how you want to turn around it. But you see, if all these evaluations were done properly, I wouldn't have been in a job that originally I didn't want to. Emmanuel, I'll call you right after this. Okay? I wouldn't have done that. But our teachers evaluated us in a way that made us feel that we are inadequate. We are not cut out for this. What kind of assessments are you using in your classroom? Are you the kind of teacher who is making kids feel like they are good for nothing? They cannot do math, they cannot do science, you cannot do this. And we keep telling them things, feedbacks. Feedbacks are very, very important. Oh, you are blockheaded. Your head don't die too much. Why? Your papa no go school. Why? In Ghana, we say then they will hit the head. Then they will insult you. Teachers will insult you. Look at the big head with nothing in it. How can you tell a student that they are big head and nothing in it? At least that kid can come to school. He knows what to do. Oh yes, Takoradi Technical University. Yes, I had admission there. All my guys who went there to do the engineering right after Koforidua Assetec, they are now big guys. Alembele Keke, you guys know him. He's now a political. He's using the engineering for politics. He did, petrochemical engineering. And that guy is good. Freeze, our SP at the time, very good friend. He's now a lawyer. He's still in the civil engineering. A lot of guys. And at the end of the day, that is the preparation we're supposed to get. But you see, the kind of assessment you do can derail everything for a student. So those of you who are teaching, please employ innovative. Read. I want you to go on the internet, read assessment forms. Look, there are times you can use electronic platforms. Kahoot, Kahoot. It's a platform where games. But you see, unfortunately for us, we don't have access to Chromebooks or laptops and phones in the class for the kids to interact with you. So it's very unfortunate you cannot use those electronic ones. But if you are in a school where you can, please use it. Okay? You can use paper and pencil. Give worksheets. Let them group them in group. Sometimes not to even solve the question, to discuss. Let them discuss. What are the processes? What do you think we can do? Why do you think we should use this method? Why not this method? That you can use to assess. And sometimes listening to them alone, you have your clipboard, you are going around, okay, this kid 50, this kid 100, this kid 80. You are assessing. Assessing doesn't have to be tedious. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be overbearing. No, don't. Find innovative ways. Even sometimes ask them oral questions. Kids, okay, who can tell me this? That kid has 100. Mr. O, is that 100? I said, yes. He's so happy. For answering one question, coming to the board, he said, look, Mr. O, if I come to the board, that will be a quiz grade. What do you think? Let's negotiate. Sometimes you just have to negotiate, break down your protocols, negotiate with these kids. You see them getting involved in the learning and teaching process. So that doesn't have to be you. You are not the boss. You are not the repository of all knowledge. No. Yes. Wisdom. I'm telling you. Look, when I was in Ghana, I never assessed any kid by marking their script with an X. When we were growing up, when teachers want to mark you something that's wrong, they do a cross, X, right? I never did that. That was one thing I learned in my spirit that I will never do to any kid. See, seeing that cross in your book, it breaks your spirit. It breaks you down. It's as if I have written everything. I've written so many things. I've done the process. I've done this step 1, step 2, step 3. And you are saying everything is wrong, just like that? No. I will watch and read. And I'm like, okay. So there was one way in fact, until recently, I changed it. I'll put 2 strokes of line beneath the answer. And I'll walk through the steps. And wherever the things, sometimes I can mark even 2 steps. First one, second one, and I'll put 2 strokes at the end of the answer. The kid may got the steps right, but at the final answer may be wrong. That doesn't mean the kid is dead brain. No, or his brain is immature or whatever. It's just that he missed the process. He missed the way along going. Some students learn, like some of us, we take time to learn. Teach, talk in the class, I will not get anything. Leave me space. From the time I leave the classroom to the evening time, I will grab the concept and I go back to my note, I'll grab the concept. Even sometimes you can assess them by marking their notebooks. Yes, marking their notebooks. Taking notes is it's a whole big part of the learning process. So whether they are doing it electronically or they are doing it, I mean, in a physical notebook, you can innovate. Teachers, fellow members in everywhere you are, banking. Look, the banking people that do not have to be writing aptitude tests. No. There are so many ways you can assess them. If you're a manager listening to me, there are so many ways you can assess your employees, their effectiveness, I mean, whatever. Whether they are meeting their KPIs and all those things. Is it the KPI or KPA? Whichever one. You see, it is something that we must all evolve. We must evolve our ways of assessing students, not to make them feel like they are good for nothing. I'm going to leave you here. My time is far spent, but we'll meet again on another platform and we'll talk about this in details. What forms of assessment must you employ? But I'm giving you a homework. I'm pricking your mind again. Go back, go and Google, go and read the research on assessments, forms of assessment. Even if you Google now, you can get 10 ways to assess your student, 100 ways to assess your student, 15 ways to assess your student, and it works wherever you are. There are some that will be internet-based that you may not have access to in Africa or wherever you are, but the ones you can have access to, please make use of them. I wish you all the best. Stay blessed, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.